Hey guys, Fearing here. We're going to go ahead and look at multiplying polynomials today. So yesterday we looked at binomials. Remember when we talked about what a binomial was? A bi is two parts. So it had two terms. So it was plus or minus some number. And then x plus or minus some number. So it was two parts by two parts that we were multiplying out. So we multiplied the big numbers, we added the little numbers. And when we did that, we created this box, right? It was a 2 by 2 box. So today what we're going to do is we're going to multiply polynomials. Poly meaning many, meaning my box might have to get bigger. So that's what we're going to kind of go ahead and determine here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip the words again. Remember, if these help you, go ahead and take some time to write them down. If they don't, just kind of flip on in with the video, and we're going to go into problem number 1 here. So when I look at this, I have two pieces in the first term, 1, 2, but I have 1, 2, 3 in the second term. So I have a binomial by a polynomial. So what that tells me I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to create a 2 by 3 box. Now you can do it two different ways. I usually like to make my boxes long because it gives me a little bit more work space. So that's going to change how I put my parentheses then. So my 2 parentheses has to be on the side that has the 2 spots. So that's going to be on the actual side here. I have a 4x and a positive 9. My 3, my polynomials, have to all stick together on the same side of the box. So I'm going to put those where the 3 spots are. I have a 2x squared, a negative 5x, and a positive 3. So now we're going to repeat the same process that we did yesterday. We're going to multiply the outsides to get the inside. So I'm going to get this times this to get that spot there. So 4 times 2 is 8. X times x squared, remember there's an imaginary 1, and we add those together, x to the third. Repeat the process. 2x squared times 9. Okay, 2 times 9, 18. I have that x squared. Repeat the process. Negative 5x times 4x. Okay, so I'm going to get negative 20x squared. Negative 5 times positive 9 is going to give me negative 45x. I have 3 times 4x, so I'm going to get 12x. And then that very last one, 3 times 9 is going to give me 27. So now the outsides are done. We're not going to touch the outsides. We're going to write down everything that's inside. So I'm going to write that over here. I start with the highest power, so 8x to the third. Then I'm going to move on to the next highest power, which is a squared. So I'm going to do 18x squared. That's positive, so I'm going to plus. Then I have a negative 20x squared. Then move on to my x's. I have a negative 45x. Positive 12x, and then I still have that positive 27. So now yesterday we only had 2 things we had to combine. Today we're going to have multiple things we have to combine. So I'm going to look at my x to the thirds. I only have that 8x to the third, so we're going to leave that 8x to the third. X squared, I have a positive 18 and a negative 20. So when I combine those, I'm going to get negative 2x squared. I have a negative 45 and a positive 12x. I can put those 2 x's together as well. So that's going to give me negative 33x. And then I still have that plus 27 at the end. So it's the same idea as yesterday. It's just making bigger boxes. All right, let's look at problem number 2 here. So again, I have a 2 by 3. So I'm going to create this 2 by 3 box. 2 by 3. The 2 pieces are going to go on the side that have the 2 spots available. So I have a 3x and a minus 5. The 3 is going to go where the 3 spots are available. So I have a 2x squared, a positive 7x, and a negative 8. So now we're going to multiply our outsides to get the inside. So 3x times 2x squared is going to give me 6x to the third. I'm going to have 2x squared times negative 5, negative 10x squared. Now I'm going to have 7x times 3x. So I'm going to get 21. X times x is going to give me x squared. I'm going to have 7x times negative 5. So I'm going to get negative 35x. I'm going to have negative 8 times 3x, negative 24x. And then negative 8 times negative 5 is going to give me a positive 40. So now the outsides are done. We're going to write down the insides. So I have a 6x to the third. I have a negative 10x squared. I have a positive 21x squared. I have a negative 35x. I have a negative 24x. And then I have a positive 40. So we got to combine our like terms. X to the third, I only have that 6x to the third. I have negative 10x squared and a positive 21x squared. That's going to give me a positive 11x squared. I have negative 35x and negative 24x is going to give me negative 59x. And then I still have that plus 40 at the very, very end. Okay, look at number 3 here now. So remember, we have this problem where I have this number on the outside. So I can't have that before I create my box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute that into everything in that first set of parentheses. Okay, so that's going to give me 7x squared minus 14x plus 35. The second one's going to stay the same, so 3x squared plus 4. Now I have my two sets of parentheses. I have a 3 by 2. So it's the same idea. I'm still going to create it the same direction, okay? So I'm still going to create this box that looks like this. But what's going to happen is the 2 piece has to be on the 2 sides. So this 3x squared and this positive 4 have to be on the side. Then I have a 7x squared minus 14x plus 35 that I'm going to put on the bottom. So now we're just at the point where we're multiplying the outsides to get the insides. So I'm going to do 7x squared times 3x squared. So 7 times 3 is 21. X squared times x squared. Remember, you add the powers, x to the 4th. 7x squared times 4. 7 times 4, 28. Carry your x squared. 14x times 3x squared. So negative 14 times 3, negative 42. X squared times x is going to give me x to the third. Okay, 14x times 4 is going to give me negative 56x. Now we're going to go on to the next one. 35 times 3x squared is going to give me 105x squared. And then 35 times 4 is going to give me 140. So we're going to write out our insides. Now, be very careful when you're writing this out. I always go highest power to lowest power, excuse me. So I'm going to start with my x to the 4th, 21x to the 4th. Next highest power is the x to the thirds. So I'm going to have that negative 42x to the third. Then I have my x squared. So I have a positive 28x squared and a positive 105x squared. Then I have a negative 56x and a positive 140. Okay, so when I'm combining my like terms, I'm noticing that I only have these two things that I can put together. So I'm going to carry everything else down. Negative 42x to the third. And I'm going to do 28 plus 105. And I'm going to end up getting 133. Oh, sorry. Yep, 133. Now remember, we don't change the power, so it's going to say x squared. Carry down the negative 56x and the positive 140. So the numbers are getting a lot bigger and a lot longer, but the process is still the exact same. All right, last one here. So this one looks a little bit different. We have a 2 by 2 by 2. The problem is we can't create a 2 by 2 by 2 box. That doesn't work. That's not a thing. Okay, not in a 2D world. So what we're going to do is we're going to deal with the first 2 parentheses, get an answer, and then multiply that by the second one, or the third parenthesis. So this is going to take a little bit of time. So the first 2, they're 2 by 2. So this is just going to be a 2 by 2 box like we did yesterday. Okay. First parenthesis I have is x minus 4. So I'm going to put that on the side. It doesn't matter if it goes on side or bottom. Either one is fine. Second parenthesis is 2x plus 5. Okay, we're going to multiply the outsides to get the inside. So I'm going to end up with 2x squared. 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 4, negative 20. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of combining in my head, okay? Hopefully, you're starting to get to that point. So these 2 are done. I did those, and my answer I got was 2x squared. If I look at this, I'd be adding together a negative 8x and a positive 5x. Those are the same, so I can put those together, which is going to give me negative 3x and then negative 20. So now I have a 2 by 3 that I need to create to figure out my final answer. Well, again, that's what we did today now. So here's my 2 by 3. I have a 2x plus 1, and then I have a 2x squared minus 3x minus 20. So I'm going to multiply the outsides to get the insides. So 2x squared times 2x is getting me 4x to the third. A 2x squared times a 1 is going to give me a 2x squared. Negative 3x times 2x is going to give me negative 6x squared. Negative 3x times 1, negative 3x. Move on to the next one. Negative 20 times 2x, negative 40x. Negative 20 times 1, negative 20. So now when I'm looking at these, I see that I have a 2x squared here and a negative 6x squared. I'm going to be able to put those together. And a negative 3x and a negative 40x that I'm going to be able to put together. So my final answer, I'm going to have a 4x to the third. I'm going to combine those x squareds. So I'm going to end up with a negative 4x squared. I'm going to combine these x's. So I'm going to end up with a negative 43x and then minus 20. All right, that's everything we got for today. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead, you're going to show this note sheet to the sub, and then you're going to grab the assignment sheet and get that going. Remember, you want to check your answers on Schoology. Good luck.